Coming up,
so if after watching
mom.
my video you still feel like, well, I don't want to submit, I don't want a man who freaking treats me like a queen, then hey, do you, boo. I do. If I had a man described in this Bible, I'd be like, okay, you want to take on everything and I can just sit back and relax finally, and I don't have to like be the woman and the man in the relationship. And you want to take it on, man, go. I would let him do it. And you want to cherish me in the process? This is great.
Dedication, preservation, take a look inside, your salvation, do every good word, it takes patience, like a butterfly, transformation.
What is up, guys? Sophie here, and I am back with another video, and today we're gonna be talking about Fantasia, okay? However, I am not like all these other people where I'm just going to jump on the bandwagon and agree with everybody else, but we're going to have a conversation. We're going to have an educated conversation on some things that she has mentioned about submission. But before we do, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to hit the notification bell. And always check the description box for things like my Patreon, as well as other stuff that I put up in there that you're gonna find useful. Okay, so without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into the video, shall we? If you guys have been living under a rock, you should know that Fantasia did a video with The Breakfast Club in which she was talking about her marriage. Amongst the other things, she talked about submission to her husband, and she gave her opinion on why most women are single, because they cannot submit, okay? Like I said before, we're going to have an educated dialogue in which I am going to break down exactly what submission is, because I think sometimes when some people hear that word, they just automatically go thinking that you're going to be somebody's freaking slave or something. I don't know. But if you're going to agree or disagree with her, it is best for you to know actually what submission is entirely. And so the first thing that I want to get into is I want to show you a clip from her video in which she was talking about submission.
We need more men to stand up and lead the way. Most women are trying to be the leader. That's why you can't find a man. You can't be the king in the house. Fall back and be the queen and let your man lead the way. And women have to stand up and be the mother and the father and the provider. And so then now you are so bad, you can't be told nothing, that when the right man come, you lose him because you're trying to be the man. I was finna say,
Right.
man.
Can we be equal?
Oh, of course. Because at the end of the day, I'm the neck, my man's the head. So he can't make any moves without his wife. You know what I mean? It all works together. But you can't be the head of the house. You got to let the man be the head of the house.
So the first thing that I do want to point out is this whole idea that, oh, most women cannot find a man because they cannot submit. I personally do not think that that is true. I think that the reason why people or women have a hard time submitting is because they cannot find, or the men that are presenting themselves to a lot of women are not worthy of submitting to. And this whole idea also that she said is, oh, women, we're so used to basically doing everything, being the provider, doing this, that, and the third. I completely agree. As a single mother myself, yes, I definitely find myself in that role. However, I feel like what she fails to mention is that this is not by choice. This is something that women were thrown into. If some of these men was out here doing their job, these deadbeat daddies was out here doing their job, or some of these man children, and I have a video on that I'll link in the description box, was willing to be men and stop being children, then yes, maybe the women would not have to carry the brunt on their back. A lot of men, not all, don't get mad, not all. Some men refuse to step up and be men. Like women have the inner strength, right? Men tend to have the physical strength. We just can't watch ourselves go down the land of the lost. And so we have to do whatever we have to do to pick up and do for ours, okay? So I think that that part is false. The part that she said about the head and the neck, I actually agree with that. And that is what we are going to talk about in terms of the submission and what she actually meant, for the simple fact that women get caught up in the submission aspect, but really the responsibility is on the man of being a man that is worthy to submit to. A man cannot be, oh, I want to be a woman, I want to be a child, I want to be, not responsible, I want to do blah, 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 and not step up, and you expect a woman to submit. It just don't work like that. And I'm also going to link down in the description box the characteristics of an actual man according to the Bible, because actually, a lot more of the work is supposed to fall on them. And in this day and age, like Fantasia has said, unfortunately, it has fell on the women. So the first thing that I'm gonna do is I'm going to define what submission is according to the Bible, but I'm going to use the Amplified Bible because it actually explores the word submission and it doesn't just say submission. So the first comes from Ephesians 5:24. It says that submission, respecting both the husband's position and the protector and their responsibility to God as head of the household. But ultimately, the husband is the one that's supposed to be accountable to God, accountable when crap goes wrong, accountable when stuff is going awry, accountable for every single thing. And ultimately, if his marriage is not going straight, if his family is not going straight, if anything in the house ain't right, then as the man, God's gonna look at you and blame your behind and be like, what in the world are you doing? Because you're not carrying your family on your back, and now all of this ruckus is happening up in your house, and guess what? It's your fault. Moving down to 33, it says, wife must see to it that she respects and delights in her husband, and that she notices him and prefers him and treats him with a loving concern, treasuring and honoring him and holding him dear. That's all, y'all. It's like some of y'all be getting so hyped, but what's wrong with that? If you are thinking about getting married, then you need to ask yourself, is this man worthy of me actually submitting to? So the first thing I'm going to get into is verse 25, where it says, husbands, love your wife, seek the highest good for her, and surround her with caring, unselfish love, just as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her. Ooh. So A, you're supposed to always do whatever it is that you have to do for her highest good, even above your own. So you can't be selfish. If it came down to her needing some food and you needing some food, then your behind needs to starve. If it comes down to her needing something and you needing something, it goes to her. Because ultimately, the wife is the priority in the male's mind in the sense that she is the highest good. You're supposed to be unselfish, and you're supposed to always put her first and take what she wants into consideration and be able to give to that, period. And so then when we talk about how Christ gave himself up for the church, this is Christianity 101. If you are a Christian, then of course you should know that Jesus died for us, but it wasn't like somebody just ran and like stabbed Jesus and that was it, right? It was like he died this horrific death, being drugged in the street, tortured for like a whole hours and hours on end, a crown of thorns on his head, crucified on the cross, stabbed up in his ribs and all this other type of stuff. And so it's like, okay, but that's how much the man should love you, to the point that this fool should be willing to die for you, be willing to be tortured for you, be willing to be drugged in the street and give up everything that he has, including his whole body, for you. So it's like, okay, women, so when you're talking about submitting to a man, was he willing to do that for you? How Christ was like beaten with whips and chains and tortured for a whole day? Is he willing to do that for you? Because that is what God requires for the man to be when he is saying women submit. Not just women submit to any old tired, raggedy behind man, but this is what your responsibility is, men, so that your wife will feel comfortable and confident submitting to you. And then the last thing that I want to go into when it comes to this whole idea of submission is that we talk about how a man is supposed to love his wife. So even so, husbands should and are morally obligated to love their own wives, being in a sense in their own body. He who loves his own wife loves himself, for no one ever hated his body, but instead he nourishes and protects and cherishes it. Once again, just as Christ loved the church. When God created Eve, he got, her from the rib, and then Adam looked at her and said, this is bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh. So even in the Old Testament, from the beginning of time, it is like your wife is supposed to be like your skin, not your second skin, but you. So if you would not abuse yourself, if you would not hurt yourself, if you would not cheat on yourself, if you would not treat yourself any type of way, if you want something, and if you want a new tie, if you want a new suit, and you want a new car, and you're willing to do anything to do it for yourself, that is the same way that you treat your wife, because she is of you. She is of your body. She is of your flesh. And that is the priority that you have to her. So when we talk about submission, it's like, okay, if you were to think about a man cherishing you, loving you, providing unconditional, unselfishness type of anything, putting your needs before his own, always having the highest good, It's not like he's gonna hold you back. If it comes down to, oh baby, I wanna go to college, he's not gonna try to discourage you. He's going to try to make that happen for you because that is for your highest good. Because whatever it is that you want that he knows is good for you, he's going to break his neck to make sure it happens like he does with his own flesh. If a man is not doing that, then then that's why the women have issues submitting to him. And I believe that is why most women stay single, because men are not willing to step up to this particular expectation, because they get caught up in the my wife's supposed to submit to me part, but they don't get caught up in the part that they're supposed to be doing. And even with women who are giving Fantasia backlash, y'all just heard submit, but y'all didn't actually, well, I didn't say y'all, everybody. A lot of people heard the word submit, but they did not actually do their due diligence on what exactly the submission aspect was and what the man is supposed to be giving to the woman, as if all they heard was, oh, she's supposed to be bowing down to him. But no, the man is actually supposed to give a whole bunch more to the woman as to the reason why she submit. Because it's like, you know, even when we go into this clip right here.
When I met my husband, like, I was taking care of everything. I took care of my whole family. Like, it was me, right? But it took a man like him to sit me down, look me in my eyes, and talk to me like I was supposed to be talked to, and say, I'm here now. You don't have to do all of that. Pass it over to me and let me take care of it.
And this is another aspect that I agree with her about. It's like, yeah, your man should be able to come in and be like, you don't have to do that anymore, babe. I got this. I got this. You should feel so comfortable handing over the burden to the man and know without a shadow of a doubt that he is going to handle every single thing. That's not the woman's job to sit up here and have to chase after the man and figure out if he's going to carry the responsibilities of the household and do the right thing in terms of the household. Or it's not the responsibility of the woman that when the man comes in, she has to continue to do everything and struggle on her own. Ultimately, as the head, he is supposed to take on that burden of himself. And as the woman, the submission comes in as, oh, I fully have confidence and trust that he is going to handle everything. Now, I want to go into the second clip where they try to make it seem like, oh, you know, when women work, and I don't even know what his point was, but I guess just watch the clip.
So many independent women out there and doing their own thing. And now with the independent woman who's, let's say, a boss, who has their own job, pays their own bills, their own crib, their own car. Now they meet a guy, and it's hard to a woman to, as you would say, submit to a man, because they're already in that position. They're already their own boss.
So with this particular clip, I don't know where this is like also a weird version of what they feel that biblical submission is, because clearly if you read the Proverbs 31 woman, it says the woman that a man is lucky to find. It specifically speaks about her owning her own businesses, being smart, investing wisely. And I actually have a Patreon video of the Proverbs 31 woman. I'm gonna link the Patreon in the description box, but I also link just a snippet that you can see where I'm talking about the Proverbs 31 woman. But the idea of biblical submission does not minimalize women and say they cannot be bosses and they say they cannot be working. That just simply is not true. But ultimately, is it her responsibility to provide, to take care of, to do everything, to come home, cook, clean, go to work, and the man just sits there because he's the man of the house and because he has a penis, you know, he deserves all the submission in the world? No. It's like if you was a woman and you was able to just sit back and be like, oh my God, I can finally rest. And I know that my man is gonna actually do for me, give to me, cherish me, and I don't have to freaking work like a Hebrew slave. He's going to comfort me, he's gonna support me, he's gonna encourage me. And then even if I come home and he sees that he's off and I'm tired all day, he's not just gonna be like, woman, you need to get in there and cook me some food and freaking clean up the kitchen. No, maybe he's going to clean up the kitchen and maybe he's going to cook some food, because guess what? He see that you're at work all day and that you're tired, and because he wouldn't, and because he is unselfish and he's thinking of your highest good, when you come home, maybe he's going to do that for you. That's all. And that's really what the Bible verse says. And so I actually want to get into some good examples of where I felt like that she was trying to explain it well. So the first thing was when she talked about playing chess.
You can still be a queen. Queen plays a part. The king needs his queen. Mm-hmm. It's certain things that he can't see that we see.
Some people will say the queen is the most valuable piece on the board.
Come on, anybody play chess?
It is, yeah.
Okay. My husband's teaching me how to play chess. Yeah, I mean, we work together, but the queen has to has to sit back and allow her king to be the king.
I personally play chess, but as you know, if you play chess, the queen, not the king, the queen is the most powerful person on the board, and the king can only make one move at a time. Like literally, it's like, oh, if I can go here, I can go here, I can go here. But the queen is the one that can move all across the board, right? So the reason why I said that is because, like she was saying, I don't think that she was minimalizing women and saying that we are insignificant or that we don't have anything to offer. I think it was quite the opposite, in the sense that she was saying that no, women do have a lot to offer, and really it is kind of the king's or the man's responsibility to protect that and take on the brunt. Because even though the queen is the most powerful chess piece and she be capturing people, if you play chess, she be like bam, 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 and the king is like making his small little moves. Ultimately, it's the king that everybody is after in the art of war, not the queen. And so it's like, no, I'm going to protect my woman and take on the brunt of the responsibility. Everything's going to fall on me. And that doesn't mean that I don't recognize her greatness. In fact, I do. That's the reason why I take on the brunt of the responsibility, is so that she don't have to worry about anything. And I also feel like a great example was in the interview, the guy who was married, he was talking about like, oh, the submit, like it was an odd word, but really when he described his marriage, that's exactly what he was talking about in terms of, you know, submission. Like he literally said this.
Right.
How long you been married?
18 years.
Whoa, that's what's up.
25.
Okay, what's the key?
Every morning, I wake my wife up and pray with her before.
That's what's up.
It's Heavenly Father. Thank you for what we have. We what we're grateful for, what we're thankful for, and then what we ask. Health.
I don't know
if
if
we
you
want
really
another
pray.
child, have 5 kids.
Yeah.
We want another child, so we're like, God, help us with having this other child. If it's meant to be, we would love to have another child.
Okay.
I'm looking for a new home. Heavenly Father, help us with this home.
All
Help us with
right,
this health.
come
Help me
on,
with me
man.
when I'm traveling. Make sure I get to work back and safely. Make sure my kids are good every day.
He flowing.
That's what I do every day. Every morning
I salute
at
that.
4:30 in the morning, I wake my wife up and we pray.
Real talk.
When you think about it, out of what I just read, it literally says that the man is the head of the household. He takes on the brunt of the responsibility. And so this is what I'm talking about. Yes, a man gets up. Yes, wife, can you pray with me? Yes, I wake up my wife to protect me so I can go out and pray with me, so I can go out and be a man and be a provider for the household. So it's like he's saying like, oh, submit, like that's an odd word, but really him being the man of the household is what making his wife feel comfortable to submit and feeling like he's just not going to go out there and do something stupid, because she knows he's going to take care of all their children, because they have a lot of them, 5, I think, and then they want to have another one. She knows he's going to get up and go to work every day, and she knows that he is going to pray for his own safety as well as her, so that he can continue to be a provider for the household and take care of his family. That's it. All right, and so with that being said, I definitely wanted to offer a different point of view when it came to the whole Fantasia aspect, and not necessarily women getting so caught up in, oh my God, she said that we need to submit and she wants to take us back down to the 1920s, blah, 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 blah. No, if y'all formulate an opinion about something, please formulate an informed opinion about a particular subject matter by studying and understanding the context of where it actually comes from. So if after watching my video, you still feel like, well, I don't want to submit, I don't want a man who freaking treats me like a queen, then hey, do you, boo. I do. If I had a man described in this Bible, I'd be like, okay, you want to take on everything and I can just sit back and relax finally, and I don't have to like be the woman and the man in the relationship, and you want to take it on, man, go. I would let him do it. And you want to cherish me in the process, this is great. But if y'all don't want that, then go ahead on, then do your thing. But at least now you understand what you're asking for and what you're not asking for, and if you choose to submit, what exactly is being required of you and what is being required of the man. And before you get married to some of these men, you need to understand what exactly are you submitting to, and if he's not none of these characteristics, then he's not worthy of your submission, and you need to go find somebody. All right, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to check the description box for some things that I have going on. And I will see you guys another day, another time. Bye, y'all.